Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A bit nervous. Uh, Wait a bit. We were both a bit nervous now.
That's okay.
So, so how it's going to be? We would like to maybe at first we are going to introduce ourselves first, and you also, um, and then we started to talk about the question.
Sounds good.
So my name is Solehah, and I've been you can call me Sol, as I said to you. And this is my partner here.
Okay, my name is WILMA MUARI, and I am also taking the same course as Solehah, which is Diploma in English Communication.
I'm Jake Head. I'm a student at the University of Mississippi in the United States. I'm a journalism major going into I'm in my 4th year right now.
So it's morning, right there. Right?
Yes.
It's actually 9 in here. It's 11 p.m. now. So we are really thankful that you would say yes to this interview. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys for asking me to do this. It's really cool.
Okay. So so this whole interview thing would be for a subject called Pragmatics in Intercultural Communication. And as you have read all the questions, as I suppose you have read all those, and we would be asking about that for it was supposed to be like under 20-minute interview. And
Okay.
I hope we can go through all of those questions under 20 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay, so without further ado, so we would like to ask, the first question would be my partner. She would go first.
Okay, I will be asking the first question. The first question is, do you know what is intercultural communication?
Not really. I've heard the term before, but I've never had it actually defined for me.
So basically, intercultural communication is like exchanging information and idea and meaning between people from different cultural backgrounds. So I feel like I would say that you have been going through that since you've come to our college last time. I don't remember which month is it, but you have gone to our college for the, what do we call it? Cultural exchange program, isn't it?
Yes.
So did you have fun during those days?
Yes, that was a lot of fun being able to come over and do that.
It was so fun for me too, because I had a lot of, moment and able to exchange numbers and IG with even you. So for the next question.
Okay, for the next question is, based on some research that I do on internet, that you, especially American people, tend to prefer direct communication, right? So have you ever talked to someone who avoid eye contact? Was it surprising?
I have, and it can be a little bit surprising, but it's really not that uncommon. Maybe the person just struggles a little bit with anxiety or something, so it's not really a big deal if they do. And in that situation, I try to also avoid eye contact to hopefully not make them uncomfortable.
Sure. Okay. And this is for the third question is, have you ever struggled with indirect communication that, yeah, because you was preferred to direct communication, right? So have you ever struggled with indirect communication?
I can't say that I have personally, but I have seen it happen with some of my friends where maybe indirect communication is slowing something down or causing a few issues here and there, but it's never really been a big deal if it happens.
Okay. Okay. And this is for the fifth question is, oh no, this for the fourth question is, this is basically on your personal opinion. Is how do you much how how much personal space that you prefer?
I think it depends on the person, especially if it's someone I'm really close with, like one of my guy best friends. Then if there's not as much personal space, then that's okay. But generally, I do like a little bit of personal space in between me and the other person. Um, but I think it depends on how close I am with them. Depends on how much personal space I prefer in between us.
Oh, so that is basically just depend on the person lah, on the
Yes.
person. Okay. For the fifth question, sorry. How do you keep your tone respectful with different culture?
Honestly, I think it's all about respect, and knowing just keeping things simple between two different cultures. That's really, I think, the best way to keep it respectful. Just try not to cause any arguments or bring up any tension in between cultures is a good way to uh, bring respect to the other cultures.
Because respect actually is like, can you say that we can say that's like mutual relationship that everybody needs to do, because respect is just like simple things to do, right? Okay,
Yes.
for the next question will be asked by Solehah. Continue.
Okay. So for the next question, it will be, have you ever had a conflict due to the forward choice, and how did you solve it? So, like, as for my perspective, that you are a native English speaker, so I would wanted to know if you ever experienced that kind of thing.
I have, and honestly, it was my fault, and so I had to apologize and explain it a little bit clearer to the person what I was trying to say. So afterwards, it was no big deal. Just a quick apology. Tell them this is not what I meant. I'm sorry that it came off this way. That I said it this way. Here's what I actually meant instead.
Yeah, it's really good to, know that it's your fault and say sorry first. It's such a good, positive thing. And for the next question, what do you do if someone's gesture seems offensive, but their words aren't?
Normally, I'm not that much of a confrontational person, so usually um, uh, I'm okay with just letting it slide. Sometimes I'll let them know, like, hey, maybe do this a little bit differently next time, if it's something that causes issues, especially among other persons as well. If other persons are involved in it, then maybe let them know, like, hey, do this a little bit differently. But um, normally, since I'm not that much of a confrontational person, I'm okay with letting a little bit of stuff go.
I understand, as I would be that type of person too. I would just let it go.
Mhm.
So for next question is, was there any gesture that considered offensive in your culture, but it was seen differently in another culture?
This is one that I heard when um, well, I think in the United States, we are a very lax culture where not that much stuff is offensive. Um, so when going to other countries, we hear about the things that we do that can be disrespectful in other countries. For example, when we like are sitting down and relaxing, sometimes we'll prop our feet up on the table and show the bottom of our shoes. But I heard that coming to Malaysia, that could be very offensive. And so I had to keep in mind, don't do that. So I can't think of anything that would be offensive to Americans that is not offensive in other countries, but I can think of the opposite happening a few times.
I can then definitely see that. Because like Malaysia is like you really respect other like in a how do I say, but there's really that respect kind of thing we do to each other, and I feel like American is more chill on that side.
Hmm. Definitely. Yes.
So for the next question is based on your experience, do you ever encounter any verbal or non-verbal communication conflicts?
Again, I'm kind of known as a non-confrontational person, so I've only I've never really had any verbal conflicts, but there have been some non-verbal conflicts, such as over text with somebody where we disagree on something or how something is getting done, and it can lead to a small argument. But can't really say that I've had crazy fallout, like big communication breakdowns.
I see. So for the next question is going to be, do you often get misunderstood by other culture because of your direct communication style?
I don't think so. Um, and I think for me personally, I'm able to kind of change it depending on the culture, change my communication style to adapt the culture kind of easily. But I have seen where um, maybe one of my friends or somebody, they don't understand the communication style in a different culture, and they can maybe accidentally uh, mis have a misunderstanding come up. But usually it's no big deal and it's able to get resolved quickly if it does happen.
Okay, so I can definitely see that because as you have been, your answer have been like that quietly. As I see your answer, that you are more of the chill and how do I say it? You are a cool person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is going to be oh, it's the last question actually. How do you find Malaysian speakers? Are they soft-spoken? Do they have high or low tone? As you have been to Malaysia.
Mhm. I would say compared to Americans, they are relatively soft spoken, and usually kind of have a little bit of a quieter tone, but there are some scenarios during the culture exchange where maybe like the MC was super high with energy and it was very similar to like an American hosting an event too. So I think it can depend on the context and the person speaking, but I think maybe in just everyday communication, just hanging out with your friends, talking to somebody, it could be Malay can be a little bit more soft spoken than Americans.
I can definitely see. And I feel like Malaysian with their close friend, they were not soft spoken at all. I might
Hmm.
say. I feel
Yeah,
like
because of
everyone
the
is like
different
that.
culture, right? Because especially I'm from Sabah. Did you ever been to Sabah before? This is one
No,
of
I
the state
haven't.
on Malaysia. We Sabahan speaker mostly talk differently with people from Peninsular Malaysia because we
Hmm.
tend to people find that we Sabahan is when we talk is more harsh and quite high pitch. But actually, that's how we usually talk. So
Hmm.
yeah, it depends on the person actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes she spoken a bit like, is she mad? But she's not actually.
I'm not
It's
mad at
just
her
the way
because
she talk.
that's how my tone is always when I'm talking with people. Then we can see that I'm trying to adjust my voice, my tone with the person that I've spoken to. Because like you said that I want to avoid any misunderstanding because of the tone that I use. Ah, that's
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I think that's all for today's interview. That we are going to stop recording first because
Wait,
it's
Solehah.
already.
Solehah, wait. Maybe you can
Oh,
want to say something about this interview, or maybe some conclusion.
yeah.
Yeah.
From this whole interview, we would like to ask you like, what's your
Yeah.
mm,
Opinion.
yeah about
With,
this whole interview with us?
Oh, I thought it was done very well. I appreciate that y'all sent me the questions beforehand, because that's not something that always happens doing interviews with projects here in the United States. So that was very helpful. And I also like that there was that form to fill out as well, just so I could give y'all some basic information on who I am. That'd be helpful to your project as well. So I thought it was done very well. So good job, and thank you
Thank
guys for
you.
letting me be a part of this. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, because it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to us to interview you, because actually we both is really feeling nervous right now, but after speaking with you, we become like more relaxed, and we can, yeah, you said you can do the interview very well. So thanks to you too, because you're willing to join us, even though it sounds like not really, but it, you can say that this interview is right. I don't know what to say, but we're quite nervous, but thank you so much.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.